I'm Steven Sprinkle. This is MorningBit. Let's get to it. Top 3 things I think are important today for Bitcoin. The first of which is a story coming out of New Jersey. And why I think this story is interesting is because it really clearly is starting to show the interplay between state governments and how they're going to be interacting with businesses and individuals who deal in digital currencies. And specifically the story I'm talking about is a company called Tidbit. And what they did is they created a simple way for companies to monetize premium content by allowing users to mine Bitcoins while they're viewing their content. Really cool, innovative concept, but the problem is they've essentially received a request to hand over all documentation, code, and associations of individuals who've been engaged on the project. And this is really starting to create a potentially contentious precedent going forward between state governments and digital currency related businesses, at least on the East Coast. On the West Coast, it's been a little more receptive, primarily because we have the Bitcoin Foundation, who's really pushing things in California. But on the East Coast, you don't necessarily have that understanding, and you have the kind of old guard of established money institutions. So it's an interesting play that I'm watching. I encourage you to check it out. Second thing that I think is important today for Bitcoin is a new infographic that came out of MIT, and it really clearly demarcates that individuals who are getting Bitcoin, are purchasing Bitcoin, are actually more likely to use it in the first 24 hours than at any point they ever have been prior. So it's really starting to show that the idea and the argument that because of the deflationary traits of Bitcoin and other digital currencies, it keeps people from wanting to spend. But what we're clearly seeing from the actual transactional activity, as well as the acquisition and tied transactional activity, that's not true at all. So this is really exciting news to kind of debunk all of those myths and show the viability of Bitcoin in the marketplace. And then the third thing that I think is important today is actually something mentioned by a CryptoCoin user in one of the past video comments, and that is a product called Coinbase Orders. And why this is really interesting is because it essentially allows you to place limit orders in Coinbase. So you can set the low and highs trigger points for where you want to do a buy and a sell. So it's really cool. Check it out. I've actually met CryptoCoin user at one of the recent meetups here in San Francisco. So if you see me around at one of those meetups, feel free to come up and say, hey, I'd love to meet you. I hope everybody's having a great day, and I hope everybody has a great weekend coming up. If you're a product or service, send me some info, and I'd love to feature you. Once I get everything back up on the wall, I will definitely put your logos up there. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.